It's Thebettermanbysak. I'm back today to discuss some more hot topics. I'm here in my office again. Until recently, I was working upstairs out of this office with my desk job. And then I just was like, I'm bored. I want to change the scenery. So I moved my office downstairs into my kitchen. And now I have a beautiful view of like birds and the roses and all those things. So I'm getting a little bit cozier today, and I just set up my ring light for the first time. And yes, I admit it was upside down, and then I watched the YouTube tutorial and I figured it out. So just happy to be here, and thanks for joining us today. This is Cuddle Bear. So today's topic is things to leave behind to live a more harmonious life. So these could be some things that you may have heard in the past, but maybe not all at the same place. So I have my notes here, and I just want to go over some things that I've learned that, a lot of times in inner work, we hear about what to add to your life, but mostly it's what to eliminate, because you already have the foundation and base of your heart's desires. You just can uncover what those might be. So the first one is complaining. So first, no one really wants to be around a complainer. I pretty much get paid to hear complaints every day. And so like I can't necessarily like say what I really feel, but I decide to, have listening ears, and I listen as if I hear it for the first time and care, and I do try and resolve their problems. But like, if you're my friend and you're constantly complaining and I'm not being paid, we have a problem. Like, this relationship probably shouldn't go any further. So complaining, venting, like, do you ever get calls from people and you just like look at the incoming receiving and it's like, it's this person? Okay, now what are you gonna complain about today? Because it's like, I don't know if I have the capacity in my like day to like listen to you while like having my own issues, with my own personal life. So let me just take a sip of my kombucha. So complaining, that's a big one, and it's just like an energy drain, zap. Behind every complaint is the desire. So if you could more tap into the desire over the complaint, that would be where you'd probably want to put more of your energy. And a lot of times if people transmute that complaining into what they really want, it's going to work out better for you. So let's try and focus on that. So the next one's excuses. Basically, an excuse is just like a permission slip for not getting like what you want. So it's like, I could have worked out, but I decided to, I was a little too tired, or, I wanted to ask her out on a date, but I was too shy. Like, let's get over these excuses. Like, what do you really want? Like, it's basically you deciding you don't get to have it. So it's like, you making an excuse, like, is like hurting yourself. So it's like, either go ahead and do it if you want to do it, or just like keep your mouth shut, because we prefer not to hear like all the reasons why you just are settling, because no one wants that. The next one's limiting beliefs. So as far as limiting beliefs, everything is actually a limiting belief. The fact that I have like a house that has like, say, for example, if I have a 1-bedroom apartment, it could be a limiting belief that I could not have like a mansion. Now, we all know you could probably get a mansion. It might take steps, but like having that expanded container and belief, that would be a limiting belief. So basically it's a restriction on what you feel is possible. And it's also similar to like an imaginary rule. Like, oh, you need to be at work at 8:30 a.m. Okay, so if you're constantly going to be at work at 8:30 a.m., who says you can't be 10 minutes late, 10 minutes early, possibly get sick? You know, we don't have to be so predictable. And you can incorporate that in other parts of your life. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit too reliable too at times at work. And I don't always think that's to your benefit. The next one is negative habits. So say if you aren't always the best at your diet, it's probably not a good idea to go grocery shopping while you're hungry without a list, or go to the drive-through like 3 times a week when you probably should be cooking at home if you're like, you know, kind of on a diet, plus, you know, you're trying to be like having good habits. So you need to make like a fail-safe, you know, you don't want to set yourself up for self-sabotage, because, you know, you should be your biggest fan. Like, no one else is gonna like make those choices for you, and like, you shouldn't be doing the things that are gonna hurt you in the long run. Okay, the next one is negative or toxic people. Most times we don't even recognize people are negative or toxic because you're just probably used to their behaviors. But these people have a pretty big impact in your life. They probably bring out more negative than good to your life, and you might find yourself solving a lot of their problems. So the energy that you put on those people, like as far as solving their problems, like all that life force could be used on yourself. So just think about how much like conserving energy you could have if you didn't have to expand all that energy on them. So sometimes it's also very loving to let people find out how to help themselves too. So I'm not saying just let everyone fend for themselves, but like, do you really want to be a firefighter? Like, did you sign up to like put out fires all day and every day, and just like it's always going to be a situation? Because that's going to get pretty exhausting and wear on you, where you could just be improving your life. The next one's counter intentions. That's similar to what I was saying a little bit more about the limiting beliefs. It's like the self-sabotaging. So it's like, I really want to do this, but I decided to do this instead. Like, the question is, what is the underlying like belief inside what would make you choose the other decision? So if you continue to like hit up on the same thing and you're not happy, you have to try and like look inside yourself and think, okay, how am I benefiting from this? There has to be something. Like, okay, if I wake up, I know I'm supposed to wake up before I go to work. At least I hope everyone knows that. I mean, sometimes I like to work from bed, but like that's really difficult because I need a few screens. But anyway, so like if I know if I'm supposed to start work at 8:30 and I'm working from home, I know it's in my best interest to wake up before 7:30, because that's when I'm my most like happiest. Like if I wake up a minute or two later than 7:30, I'm tired, I'm cranky. I also gave up coffee, so like I don't even drink coffee anymore. So it's like I don't have a lot going for me if that happens. So just know like what you might be giving up. So if you're going to be sleeping in and you know if it makes you cranky and not productive in the morning, just at least have the awareness about it. You know, it's not always going to be clear, but like when you get a little bit more in tune with like your habits and what you have been doing, what has been working, you know, it might become a little bit more clear. And I actually recommend everyone get a journal too, but this isn't even my journal. It's like just a little notepad here. So also people pleasing. You know, I've recently realized like I get a lot more respect, especially at work, when I'm not always agreeing to everything they tell me to do because I have actually an opinion. And a lot of people just go along with, you know, the general directions, but like it's also good to just do what you actually want to do. So like if someone asked you, will you help me with this project? Like, do you have the free time? But it's like not in your scope or capacity. Like, you really should ask yourself, do you think you have the ability? I mean, I have a coworker that we always ask to do stuff, and she's always saying, I'd be happy to do that, but I need to do this, this, and this first. So it's like really drawing the boundary with what you're able to actually do while, you know, please yourself, because pleasing yourself is actually priority number one. And then the other thing that I have written down is like control of things that aren't your business. So like everyone has their own free will. So it's like, would you really want to be the reason why someone like has to reach out to you, you know, take you on a date? Like, do you want to literally like just always be the one that's like controlling the situation? Like, you know, giving people free will just allows them to actually be there. And you know, I've actually been really guilty of that because, you know, like in my life, like I feel like I've tried to control situations to a point where it's like I didn't realize how like controlling I was until like I stepped back and I was like, wow, I would actually prefer people to be in my life that like willingly wanted to, you know? It's like things shouldn't have to be that way. That should just be free. So I'm just here tonight wanting to remind you of the things that you might need to subtract in your life in order to live like a more free, liberating life. You know, no one says you have to play by some rules, but like these might be things you can consider, you know, subtracting out of your life to improve your life. And then, you know, you could always add things back in, but it's like sometimes it's just taking off some of those layers when we're just always like, typically it's like, okay, I have to read this book, I have to do this, but you know, you don't have to do anything. You can just do less. And that's what I want to remind everyone of today. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be saying goodbye. Thank you for tuning in to Thebettermanbysak, and I hope you have a great day.